Hello and welcome back for another historic video. Today we're going to be revisiting this updated Azorius Auras deck. The premise of the deck is pretty simple. You want to play out either a Light-Paws Emperor's Voice or a core Spiritdancer, both of which gain tremendous value from attaching auras to them. And then over the course of a turn or two, you just generate a creature that's so large and evasive that you're able to win the game via combat damage. In order to help us protect our key creatures, we have a number of protection spells in the form of Giver of Runes, Mother of Runes, and Charmade's Rescue. Some changes to the deck since last time. We've updated a couple of our auras, taking out one that we felt we weren't really grabbing often, and then trying to put in a more useful aura. We've also changed the mana base a little bit to remove any lands that have any potential of coming in tapped to try and become a little more consistent in the early game. And this time we're going to be running Loris of the Dream Den as our companion. As mentioned last time, the trade-off with Loris is that you do give your opponent some information at the beginning of the game, which could help them with their mulligan decisions. However, in the mid to late game, Loris does have quite a bit of potential, especially if your opponent was able to answer some of your key creatures, being able to rebuy them from the graveyard. If you're familiar with this deck, you know that it's quite powerful, and I expect it to put up good numbers today. Without further ado, let's jump into the matches and see how the deck does. Well, this hand is hard to disrupt their creatures. I do need to draw into more R spells. Looks like we're up against Affinity. Don't expect a ton of removal from this deck. We'll just play out a Light-Paws past the turn. If our opponent does remove it, it's legendary, and we have 2 more copies. Emery mills over some good cards here. They pop the Interlacer right away. Don't necessarily agree with that. And here we're going to have to deal with the Emery before we're able to really impact the board. Draw a card here. We draw Sheltered by Ghosts. I think we want to give the Light-Paw Flying. Although that doesn't really matter too much. We're going to have to go with Unblockable, so we might as well just get the armor. Attack in. I'm sure they block with the Ornithopter here, and then sacrifice it to the Ravager. They just take it, so we might have lethal next turn, depending on what we draw into. 6 mana showing. They could replay the Kappa. If I were them, I'd probably go for the Interlacer. So they missequenced here a bit. Should have played the Interlacer before the Emissary. And they have one in hand. So can we get our Light-Paws up to 13 here? We'll have to wait and see. I think the first thing we're going to do is Sheltered by Ghosts. Draw a card. It's another Sheltered. That's actually probably better than the Rescue. And then here, opponent has 1 mana showing. We're going to have Unblockable. I think we'll just go for the Ravager and see if they want to sacrifice it. It does look like we have lethal though, so it's not really going to matter. With 1 mana, they can't bounce the Light-Paws. They might be able to bounce one of the R's that's on it. And then Aether Tunnel does give a little bit more power. Take out the Emery. And then here, we'll grab all the glitters. Attack in. Good game. This hand is extremely fair. Sheltered by Ghosts and Ethereal Armor are not the two worst to have. I think we'll keep it. We'll just see how this plays out. Going to be up against a ramp deck, and the land indicates it's a Charbelchers, which we're able to deal with our Sheltered by Ghosts. And they have it here on turn 2 already. We'll take it out with the Mother. Hit for 2. They shock in. Could have a bounce spell. And they do. No mana to reactivate. So we'll just run that back. They've already played out one Sephoric Springs, and they've used the other. Not to say that they are out of it yet. Then here, a couple options, but we might as well just load up the Mother. Try and hit for 6, see if they chump. They do. And we'll play out another Mother here. Another chump blocker. See if we can get the Mother over 9. We can't. I think we still push damage. And then green. Hit for 6. And we have lethal on board. Pass the turn. Notably, Mother can protect herself, so a bounce spell would have to be on the actual aura. But our opponent doesn't have it. Good game. This hand is not any good. This will have to do. And I think we put back the Vista here. Opponent on a Wizard's deck. We still have to play out the Mother. Eat a removal spell. Play with fire, so they're on a low to the ground version. Kind of regret putting back that other land, although we do draw one off the top. We can't run the core out naked. We're going to have to wait until we can protect it with the rescue. Pause here indicates our opponent has more instants in hand. And we will fetch to thin. Since our opponent hasn't played anything, we'll just move Lurrus to hand. Next turn, we'll have 2 instances of rescue available. They fire off a lightning, so they're just going aggro at this point. probably the best top deck we could have. We'll play out the core, get the armor down on it, draw a card. And Sentinel Eyes is good as well. I think we just pass here. We can play the Rescue during our opponent's end phase. We'll go down to 5 here. Do they have 2 more burn spells? They use Flame. That's not going to work. And the Insight is great as well. It means we'll be able to gain life here, and don't think we can lose from here. Let's see. I'll just do all that glitters. I think that's going to give the most power. And this is actually enough for lethal. We'll throw the eyes on. That's 23. Good game.